Who is it?
Hooyo ma joogtaa?
Hooyo Mataalo. She went shopping.
Hooyo markay timaado haba xabiibaa kuu timid ku dheh.
Okay, haba.
Yo, wagwan, assalamu alaikum, damantina kuso dawada, and welcome to Hooyo Mataalo Podcast. I'm Lee, short for Liban.
I'm Sam, short for Samatar. And yeah, welcome to episode 2.
We're back, baby. We're back, baby.
We're back. So we did mention beforehand that we was gonna bring on guests. So it's not always gonna be me and Liban. So it's gonna have a variety. And today we've got a special guest with us, Adam, close friend of mine. Welcome.
Big emphasis on the special.
My bad. We've got a special guest here, Adam. Welcome.
Come on. It's good to be here still. Glad that you brought me on this specific episode, so we could talk about the come up of our people. But yeah.
Yeah, as they say, you know what I mean?
Come on. But yeah, now we've grown up together in the same hood, so it's
good 15 still.
So it's a thing where you two grew up in the same area, innit? Like from the start.
Yeah, so we grew up in the same area actually, yeah. So I moved, as I mentioned in a previous episode actually, when I moved over from Holland, my first actual area, or obviously besides that, I had a brief spell in South for like 6 weeks. My first actual house where I was at, I was actually in an estate in Hayes. So that's how I got to meet Adam. You know what I mean?
So he's only a close, like your first
friend.
Yeah. I'll always tell him as well, because obviously how I've grown up, being born here, living in Ruislip, predominant white people area. He was my first Somali friend. Mad. And I tell him this all the time. So by the time he got to Hayes, I was already maybe 8, 9.
Yeah.
Was it 8?
Yeah, I know. I think, wait.
It was definitely primary school, maybe year 3 or 4.
It's probably I say I think it was around turning 9.
It was year 4. I think it was year 4. It was year 4.
Yeah. It was at that time, I think. No, my bad actually. You was in year 5. You was actually in year 5 going into year 6 at that point.
Fair enough.
Because it was 04 at that point.
That makes it even more crazy because I remember a lot of my upbringing, but my memories only go up to year 2. Anything before year 2-ish, it's gone. Yeah, it's all a blur.
You forgot to mention though, like you're born here, so that's
I was born here.
That's the difference between us and you.
Yeah. So up until year 2 until year 5, like Sam said, I don't remember ever having any other Somali friend. First of all, let alone black people, a black friend. I don't remember having a Somali friend at all. Yeah, and
this is our point. This is our point. If I had that sound effect right now to say "oh,"
sorry. Once to get popping, we can change up the soundboard. You get me? Don't worry. Come on, don't forget like and subscribe. You get me?
Of course. But we're gonna start off the episode with basically by using a clip, an extraction from like a documentary from the early 2000s. That kind of goes into the relations between the West Indies, like the West Indian people that were here, sort of like. How would you say it? Like
I say probably the first
contact.
The
contact. With Somalis.
Definitely, it's probably one of those ones where it's probably the communities that were here beforehand, the first economic communities. I'd say probably those that came from the West Indies, those came from Southeast Asia, not East actually, South Asia, like I'd say like around India, Pakistan and all that, when they had the first contact of actually the Somali community. Now obviously we were well aware of that when it comes to the Somali
integration.
Yeah. Exactly. So the whole integration part of it was going to be mad.
Yeah, so basically, so I'm going to play like a clip from a Channel 4, I think it's a Channel 4 documentary at the time that came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm going to play the clip and we're going to look into the clip.
When I talk about them, it just makes me want to be sick. And it's not even a joke, like, I just think they're vermin, like, you get me? And they're just a race, they're not civilized people. Implanted is known as terror. People get jacked whatever the weather. They're black, but they're not classed as black. They're black, but they're a different kind of black. They're black, but they're not one of us. Look, you can see some now. Look, if you wind down the window now, yeah, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can just see them now. To me, Somalians are like the dirt, like, or it's like, in other words, we have to clean up the dirt, you get me? And they're the dirt.
I hate the Somalian. They should go back to their country. The government should give them money and send them back to their country. They are war people. They don't know about peace. They don't know about love. They have no heart. To me, they are animals.
Barbaric.
Vermins.
Uncivilized monkeys. Get me? That's how these man moving on. Like.
Listen, man, I can't lie, man. That there, yeah, is we can laugh about it now, but back then, like when that was the case, we could not laugh about that, man. That was some serious stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the language used it's
It's
mad.
explicit, man. It's
definitely.
That's hate crime, bro. That's hate crime.
Hate crime.
yeah. You were saying in it before, innit? Like that was like the kind of language EDL would use.
Yeah, that's the EDL type of language, isn't it? Send them back home.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Get them back in.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
There's
But,
all of that, yeah.
but that doc, like that doc was that was the second part of the doc. Like at first they were showing in the first part they were showing the interaction with the West Indies and the Pakistanis, like in the Midlands and whatnot. But the second part of it was the interaction with the Somalis. So that was kind of
And they're referring to us as Somalians, you know. Like I've had to educate people on that. So like obviously a lot of people who are not used to our culture have always referred to us as Somalians. Whereas obviously the plural term is Somali. So
yeah, Somalis, yeah.
Or Somalis. So yeah, it just shows a bit of uneducated ignorance.
No, but that still goes on. Like,
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah.
I'm saying till today.
Yeah,
bro. I'm
from
still
time
telling
to
people-
time. Yeah,
I'm still telling people till today, bro.
you've got to make those corrections from
No,
time to time.
100%.
No, but I think the reason why that is, you have to come across, the reason why people say Somalians is because you have to look at this. They look at Nigerians, Ghanaians, Jamaicans, so it's Ains.
Yeah.
So they think, oh, Somalians, but they don't know that that's not the way it works for us.
The real question is, did you not ever get Somalians? Like
Some
Aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, the maddest thing is, I've heard some people say that, like, not directly to myself, but I've heard people say, yeah, this alien. I haven't come across that personally.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The first time I heard Somalis being referred to by aliens was from another Somali person. I swear to God. I swear,
aliens.
bro, it's mad.
So what did you not used to get called? Like, be honest. Like,
You know what? The one I used to get the most was Malteser. You know, it wasn't even anything to my culture. I was like, there's this one guy I always used to, when I was on my way to school, would always say, "Look at these Maltesers."
mad.
Crazy.
So what? No, nobody.
I'm actually trying to think.
I never used to get no Somali racial
Do you know what
slurs.
it is? You man ain't got big foreheads, in it, but
Yeah.
my forehead is slightly big in it. So I didn't used to get caught that way, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but
innit?
for
Yeah,
us,
but
it's
that's
probably
a generic thing, though, isn't it? For
Yeah,
us?
100%, 100%.
Always for us,
East Africans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
No, 100%.
But then again, I had, yeah, I don't know. It's all, you know, we's the ones that were like the focal point to go at. You know, I'm trying to say.
100%.
Like, it's because we're allowed to. It's not like we're gonna take it and not give anything back.
No, but do you reckon like the main reason was like do you reckon one of the primary reasons was the misinterpretation of, like, you know, when someone asks you, what are you? I'm Somali, I'm not black. Like, you know how like some people like
100%.
they can't really understand what we mean by that, but
Yeah, because for us, it's always the way we go by is culture, ethnicities. That's our makeup, if that makes sense.
100%.
And then color, whatnot. It's not really something that we reference by, if that makes sense.
You know, 100%.
And to us, is obviously there's a pride in it, whatnot. When it comes to all Somalis, yeah, we're Somalis, whatnot. But we did feel like when we first came in, whatnot, it was a sense of like, okay, you do say that we're black and whatnot, but we never felt that. Well, we was never really brought forward, like brought
No,
in, if that
100%,
makes sense. It was
100%.
more like you felt the hostility a bit
Yeah,
more
yeah,
like, no.
Yeah, but how does that racial kind of thing work? Because you can't pick and choose. Because if you're saying someone's black, yeah, to kind of justify their stance in terms of society, like how you identify them, yeah, like later on we can't just say we're only Somali, yeah, because on our passport racially it's gonna identify us as black.
Listen,
Get
the policeman will still see us. Like,
No,
I
no,
see
no,
3
no.
male, bro.
I
Exactly.
agree with you.
Do you
Because
get
the
me?
racial makeup
but
of that is going to be
like
different.
even in school, like obviously we'd always get Like we're not black, we're Somali.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
like people, like boys that were from either Caribbean or like somewhere in Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, wherever.
Yeah.
They'll refer to them as black.
No,
They'll
but-
never refer to themselves as like Nigerian or Ghanaian, by the way.
No, but we'd never have like we didn't really have like a sense of belonging. If you look at it, like prime example being this clip, innit? Like this
Yeah,
guy
this
is
clip,
clearly
yeah.
saying that we're completely different to these,
yeah,
to, like
because-
to black people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the reason why he said that is because if you look at it, right, it's because he I don't know where he's from, anyways, but you can tell.
Woolwich.
No,
That
but
country,
I'm talking
he's
about
West Indies,
country.
he's some
Okay,
sort of
yeah.
Caribbean.
Oh yeah, he probably
He's
is.
some sort of
But then
Caribbean.
if you look at it, he says they look different. See, now the emphasis was on different. It's the way we look, right?
Mm.
But if you look at someone who's Jamaican or Nigerian, Ghanaian, and whatnot, they won't look too far.
No, they're similar.
Like, yeah, very
No, they're
similar.
very
I'd
similar.
say.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but when you look at Somali, you're seeing a big forehead and
Yeah.
whatnot. You're
Softer
thinking, yo,
hair.
listen,
Yeah, you see
listen.
softer
You
hair,
see a
different
guy
facial
with
features.
hair up to his,
Yeah.
you know, up to his shoulder, and think, yo, who are these people? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Even
it's-
facial
it's-
features,
yeah.
nose,
So the whole
everything.
facial features and everything else. So to them, the whole point is, yeah, we do look alien to them in that sense.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah, of course.
But I don't know. This whole alien thing can mean a lot of things, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know. To this day, I think it's more to do with like.
No, but do you reckon? Do you
The
reckon?
head
Like,
shape, the head shape.
It's do with the head shape, you know what I mean? I don't know.
no, but do you reckon?
Yeah.
You know, like the film, like Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, like Captain Phillips and these things, like Black Hawk Down. If you deep it,
Yeah, it came
that
early
film
to-
came
yeah.
out 2002.
Yeah,
Yeah,
early
and like
2000s.
that didn't help with the perception
No,
of
it
how
didn't.
Somalis were viewed.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
barbarism.
Yeah,
Mad.
no, it didn't help because if you look at it, the whole obviously, if you look back to that movie, yeah, we're perceived as savages.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Like, It's nuts. Like obviously, throughout the years, it's the same words that are being used all the time. It's like animals, savages. They're unable to integrate with our ways. They don't like to speak English. They don't like to, and whatnot. They feel like they were isolated, but at the same time, I feel like it was a two-way thing because if you're not welcome, and by the way, the way we Somalis are, anyways, we're very welcoming people, anyways. Once you open up your arms, we're all good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But like we always got these tendencies too that at the same time that we're, yeah. If obviously if you piss us off, we've got maybe some violent tendencies. You never know. You know what I mean?
100%.
We're not the type of
Yeah,
people
we don't
that
just
just
roll
back
over.
down.
No, we don't roll
We're
over.
not like, oh yeah, you got us now,
Yeah.
and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things like they got to deal with at the same time. So it's probably a culture shock for them when they first met us because think about it, came back. If we're looking at early 2000s, not long from the Civil War, right? So we had the Civil War, whatnot. You probably got a 10-year-old at that time that was probably handled a machine,
AK, bro.
an
He's got
AK
AKs,
or
yeah.
whatnot. So you got a kid that's probably traumatized. So even at that age, a lot of people that came and fled, etc. A lot of people are traumatized probably. So it's the way you come across and think, oh, but they're savages. Yeah, what do you mean, bro? They came for a madness.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's not
100%.
like they had a smooth ride or whatnot and said, hey, listen, we're all good. So yeah, it was all different.
Yeah, you got to you have to take that into
Yeah, you
account.
got to take a lot of things into consideration at that point.
Yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? Yeah, no, definitely. But the main thing today, actually, I'd say is that we brought Adam, our special
Yeah.
guest today, that we brought him through is that Adam is a bit of a difference. That he's actually born and bred here.
Born and raised, mate.
Yeah,
I mean,
big contrast.
Yeah,
big contrast.
to us. Known as what they call it, secondary migrants coming from another European country. But yeah, Adam is born and bred here.
Yep.
Yeah,
Different upbringing.
Yeah, Adam, I'd say the best thing is give us an insight on what it was like.
Like what it was like growing up
Yeah.
here, like your first
You know what?
interactions.
Yeah, it was a smooth upbringing in terms of having a roof over my head, safety, education, stuff like that. It was smooth. It fulfilled the purpose of why my parents came. I lived in a very suburban white area, predominantly white. We was only let alone black family, was the only Somali family on the street. Yeah. So for them, they fulfilled their purpose in terms of my safety and education. Everything was okay. There was no beef. We wasn't getting racial. There wasn't bricks coming through our window. We wasn't targeted. Yeah. But when I look back at it, it obviously was at a point where a lot of these people maybe didn't have an integration with Somali people specifically, let alone black people. Obviously, black people have been here for a very long time. They just obviously just saw us as another black family. Maybe they weren't well educated in terms of I'm Somali, but for them, they didn't see a difference at the beginning. Yeah. So even me being raised in the house and growing up in this country, like I always, like Sam as well, Sam knows, Sam came 2005, 04?
Yeah, 04, yeah.
04. I've been in this country obviously since 94.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, I do not remember having a Somali friend before Sam.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That is
so
nuts.
that's 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously I know Somali people, what they look. I know who Somali people are.
Yeah.
Obviously, the only Somali people I used to really see were my family. Yeah. But if I'm going to school, if I'm going to the local supermarket, I never used to see Somali people. And at that point in my life, I didn't feel like I was Somali. It wasn't at the forefront of my mind. Yeah. There wasn't cultural conversations at home. Hooyo's obviously speaking to us in Somali.
Yeah.
Arbo's speaking to us in English. He's obviously been here. He's been here way longer than my mum. He came in his early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, he migrated from Hargeisa, went to the Gulf Fields in Kuwait, lived there for a little while, went to India, educate himself, and then came to the UK. Early 80s, maybe even at the end of the 70s. Yeah. Lived in London, met my mum. They moved to Manchester. Had two youths, me and my brother, me and Ahmed, and then we came back to London. So our first spot that we dropped into London was Ruislip. So for them, I feel like as long as we was able to speak Somali and understand Somali, that was the forefront of their mind. They wanted to raise me more in terms of Islam than Somali.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why when I say I felt like I wasn't Somali. Like I even remember one time in high school. This is even after I've met these boys. It's been a few years now. What? Maybe 3 years now. Yes, it's year 7, yeah? So maybe 3 years I've been chilling with all the man them now. Yeah. There was one Somali boy in our school. He was a couple years older than me. But it was only me and him. There was 3 of us in the whole school from year 7 to year 11.
Yeah, I remember.
And I went to an all-boys school.
Yeah, okay.
It's only us 3 Somali people in the school. Yeah. And we're in the hallway. It's the first time he's clocked me. Yeah, lunchtime, he's clocked me. And typical Somali, we're at different ends of the hall. And he's just shouted to me, he's just looked at me and said, yo, are you Somali?
Mad.
In the hall in front of everyone's looking at me.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids that are in this school, I've come from my high school, so I know a lot of the white boys that are there.
Yeah.
And they just all just looked at us one time. And I was like, nah, bro, I don't know what you're on about. I just went and got my lunch.
Mad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I had that identity kind of crisis in terms of me being Somali. And I was confused. So even when I met Sam, the Mandem, all like Guled, Mo, all of them, yeah? We all lived in Charville. So it's Charville Lane Estate. Like when I tell you estate, what comes to your mind?
I say blocks.
Blocks,
yeah.
Corner shop, betting shop,
shops,
William Hill, all these things, yeah?
Yeah.
Bro, I lived in an estate that was only full of suburban houses.
Okay.
Every house has got a driveway, garden, minimum 3 bedrooms, yeah? Our nearest shop is like 2 miles away. Yeah. We are completely cut off from civilization, bro. Greenery everywhere, horses. Beautiful. I mean, it was... You'd never believe that you was in London.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was one bus that was there, TFL bus. But if that TFL bus wasn't there, you wouldn't believe you was in London. Do you understand? So that area where I don't know if they strategically put like 5 Somalis in this area. Yeah. As soon as I met these boys, and I'm hanging around Somali boys now, on 24s, like we're out every day. We're playing football on the roundabout.
Yeah, on the roundabout.
It's only Somali boys we're all playing, yeah. The instant connection that we had compared to all the years that I've been chilling with my other friends at school was completely different. There was a sense of understanding, instant connection. We all speak the same language, and I'm seeing something different for the first time in my life. And I prefer this. It's not like I didn't like hanging out with my white friends or my Asian friends. Like they're my friends. They're still my friends till today. No problems. Yeah. But in terms of them accepting my culture, they also had to learn as well.
Of course.
Yeah. They didn't know about it. So I never looked at it as like, oh my days, these guys are alienating me for a specific reason. They didn't know about it. So like I said, when I met these boys, instant connection, it was an instant love that we had for each other, and knowing that we all come from the same place.
Yeah.
this is when I started to be more interested in my culture, and I had to come back to reality and understand, first and foremost, okay, cool, I'm Muslim, but then obviously my culture, where my parents, my whole family bloodline comes from, is from Somalia.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's when the conversation started happening. I'm learning stuff from my friends. My friends are learning stuff about me, about this country. Sam, I remember when I first met him, he couldn't really speak English too well.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I mean? The man didn't even,
It's a
like,
bit
every
mad.
time we'd
Yeah.
go somewhere, and let's say like it's a restaurant and we're trying to ask about reservations or whatever, I'd always get pushed to the front of the queue saying, yo, Adam, your English is the best. I beg you, go speak to them.
Still goes on
Bro,
today.
till today, they
Yeah.
asked me the other day. I said, you man, yeah. I should have let this run any longer, because you've been here what, nearly 20 years, like, yeah. But it was little things like this, yeah, where when I look back at it, it shows me specifically how we've grown as a people. Because now, if Sam speaks to you, you wouldn't think that he's a like immigrant or whatever. He's come from Europe. Or, do you know what I mean? You wouldn't believe that. You wouldn't believe it.
Do you know what's funny?
Exactly.
I get that all the time.
Yeah, no,
When
it's
I'm
mad
working in
because-
spaces.
Because like Adam said, yeah, that's the funniest part about it. The whole translator thing and everything. Yeah, we still got on about it. Like,
today,
yeah,
bro.
to this day, say, yo, Adam, you might as well. But it was actually real back then.
It was
because
real,
when I
bro.
first came and everything, yeah, you know, you're still grasping the language and everything. You're still getting to learn everything. You're like, oh, Adam, you know, listen, help me out here, bro. Like what they're saying, you know what I'm trying to say. So it comes down to that. But at the same time, the way Adam's describing the actual state, that's actually how he was. So bit by bit, what we were seeing was more and more Somali people moving into the area, and it's mad. So we're starting to have this little small community of Somalis now, right?
Yeah.
But the thing with Adam, where I felt it was a bit different when it came to Adam, was the fact that I felt like his upbringing was a bit different, because it could be due to the fact that his dad was here quite some time anyways and everything, whereas, you know, you've got his dad speaking perfect English anyways, you've got his mom translating for everyone in the hood when it comes to the parents' evening and everything.
Bro, mom's
You know?
translating for these, man, at every parents' evening, yeah. And I don't even remember her ever coming to one of my parents' evenings. It's mad. Yeah. Obviously, Pops was coming with me, innit? But Marjorie was making sure that our community was excelling. So obviously, you've seen a few man probably finesse their parents, innit? The teacher's telling them something, they're speaking Somali to the mum and telling them a whole load of rubbish, innit? So mum always used to make sure that the mums are fully involved in their education and understanding what's going on with these boys at school, because obviously they come from Europe, they're still learning the language up to a point, and obviously mums are always going to be concerned about their son or their daughter's education.
Yeah, definitely.
So when would you say the issues started? Because like I've heard stories.
It was
like,
high
from-
school, you know.
Huh?
For me, it was high school.
Because I've heard like from obviously like I know some we have some mutuals of guys that we know that lived in that area. So like I heard they went through hell like at some point.
Yeah, no,
When did that start?
like especially on my
When the numbers came, innit?
Yeah,
It
no,
had
no.
to be.
Where I
That's when it
first
was.
moved in, and Adam probably knows this anyway. It's weird because it was road by road, right? Because my road was on the other side, so I'm the only Somali now that lives in this area, right?
Yeah.
And it's totally different. And now Adam knows it's a bit of a hectic one for me on my road, anyways. Because when I first moved into that road, so the way he went about it was a bit hostile, I'd say, because it was funny because you had all the lads and everything else. So I wasn't used to that. Like I said before, I came from an area that in Holland, anyways, that was mostly ethnic minorities. We had no white Dutch people, anyways, that lived there.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, tables have turned now. So I'm living on this road now, and it's mad. So I'm seeing all these kids and everything trying to brick, etc. Brick the windows, egg a house, and everything else. So it's hostile on this road.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing
to pick up off that point,
rosy.
We lived in this specific area of Charville since 2001. Yeah. So it's been a good 3-4 years now before all of the Somalis have started moving in. Yeah. Prior to all the other Somalis moving in, we had a smooth ride, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody's chatting to us different. Nobody's treating us any different. Nobody's calling us Somalis or monkeys or whatever. Yeah. Give it fast track 10 years. Yeah. Anytime my mum would take the bus to go to work, or she would go just divert out of our road. Obviously, Charville Estate is pretty big, innit? So there's loads of roads within Charville Estate.
Yeah.
But once she leaves our road to go to another road, she could easily get racially abused. Easily. But before that, it was nothing. everybody loves us. Everybody's bringing us cake or whatever, showing us love, no problem. But as soon as as all the Somalis started migrating from Europe or even Somalia, the racial abuse it went through the roof.
Because it's more visible now, I'd say.
And I'd say probably they had more interaction with Somalis. Probably wasn't a smooth one. But even for someone, who's not racist or like, you know, maybe stereotypical, all it takes for them is to be in an establishment and just hear other people speaking a different language.
100%.
Do you get it?
100%.
So straight away they're thinking, yo, what's this, man? Like, I'm not used to this.
No,
man.
100%.
Yeah.
Because
all the Somalis I'm used to at least know English. Like, obviously, all of us boys, me and my 3 brothers, we're speaking perfect English. We speak exactly like everybody, normal, no problem. But now we've got people coming from Sweden, Denmark, you know, Norway, Holland, and they're speaking Dutch or Somali, and they don't have a clue. And they're just seeing more people who are just used to being free and not used to the British kind of society of how things go.
To be.
Do you get it? So yeah, it just started to go through the roof.
But I'd say one thing that actually stood out to me now that I'm thinking back to it is the way your mom used to interact with the neighbors compared to everyone else. Other Somali mothers used to interact with theirs. Because I remember because you lived in the top of the road, right? And the funny thing is that the way your mom used to go about everyone else is like, of course, your mom speaks perfect English, etc., etc. Gets along with them a lot more, right? She knows the way to deal with them. Let's just say that, right? And they don't see her no different. But I'm telling you, the minute they see the other mothers and whatnot on the street and whatnot, right? That's when things start ticking and things just start going nuts in the area and whatnot. So tensions, it did go up because, like Adam said, there's more and more Somalis moving into the area where we're not as integrated as maybe Adam's family. No, definitely not like Adam's family. So then they're thinking, wait, hold up. Adam's family is normal. Now, what the hell's wrong with these guys?
We've been in the society.
Long enough.
My parents have been here for a long time, and they've obviously taught us how to be within. Like, we've grown up in the society in this country, so we know the social norms.
100%.
Yeah, we know what to do. We know what to say. We know what not to do. What not. So, like, in terms of what not to do, like, I had a neighbor. So when I moved in. So these man, they're straight from Africa, They're my broskies, innit? Like, you all know them. It's calm. But in terms of, like, they're the second Somali people now to be on this road.
They're the second now.
From us living on the road, living comfortable, like, doing everything as normal. Mum, if she's cooking, she'll take lunch to the next door neighbours and that. Summertime, we're all outside, like, having fun. Everyone's normal. And then these man move in. No problem. Cool. But now they've come straight from Africa. At least Europe. At least there's Europe. Like, you man are westernized a little bit.
Savages.
Westernized.
Not even savages, but barbaric niggas.
Not barbaric.
It's never barbaric. It's just, obviously, in every race, every culture, there's certain people, like, they're just different. Like, they're just, I don't know, they're just naughty, innit? Like, they just don't fit in society. Like, they're just different. Innit?
Adjustment period, transition.
So, like, I remember one day, our neighbour, and Tracy, Tracy, she's come knock on my door now, She's saying, I don't mean to be funny, you know how, like, they love starting like that, innit? They love that shit, and they mean to be, like, pretty rude. They're coming to be blunt. I knew straight away, like, okay, cool, what's happened, innit? So she goes, I don't mean to be funny, but so and so's pissing out the top window.
What do you mean?
I said, what? She goes, he's opened the front window, his cock's all hanging out, and he's pissing out the window.
Lord have mercy.
I don't know what it is, but could you go speak to them, please? So why do you go chat to them? I'm like, they know English, like, you go chat to them, kind of thing. But she's directly come to another Somali person to go speak to this Somali person to tell them to stop acting the way they're acting, bro. Like, I would have anybody, like, you would have just gone up to them and told them, yo, like, stop pissing out the window, kind of thing. What's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? But she specifically come to me, and then now she's getting a hump with us. Like, now there's a rift coming on, like, things that they're doing, like, it's causing problems with us.
Yeah.
I'm saying, how? Like, we've known you 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, yeah.
No beef.
Yeah.
I've come to your yard and
pass.
yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah.
But as soon as like you got a problem with another Somali family, you got problems with me.
Yeah, they're
now.
trying to use you guys as the middleman, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's
And I'm saying, yo, handle your own situation. Like, if they're doing something that you don't like, that's your problem.
Yeah,
Do you understand? Like, that's your problem.
That's jokes.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, it's
But they're
it's
coming
mad,
to us
yeah.
specifically like, yo, you know they know English. You speak to them on a regular. Yeah. If you got a problem, go tell them. I'm not gonna go. It's not gonna be any different as it in Somali.
Yeah.
For me to tell them to stop doing that, than if you tell them in English to stop doing that, it come across exactly the same.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just small stuff like that started to happen a lot more, and then fights going on, and yeah, it's whenever one person has I don't know why, but if somebody has a traumatic or bad experience with one person of a specific race, now everybody's bad.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Do you know
mad.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? Like, did you man like back each other? So like, when
To the death.
when one
To the
Somali had one household had beef with
100.
Yeah, it
100%.
changed.
How did
it
it
changed
run?
over a while. No, 100%. It was wild because reason I say it was like that, right? Within my road, especially when I first moved in there, right? Like I said, like we had, and I'm on the other road of Adams, right? And so Adams Road got a few Somali families. Now I remember I had one Somali family, but there was one old lady and her daughter, right? So they're not much use in that sense, if you think about it. You know what I mean? You don't want to call, you don't bring no pasta to the front door. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, you had these kids, right? Yeah, I'm not even joking. Like 6, 7 youths, 8 youths. Yeah, they must have loved playing knockdown ginger in my house. And then one day my dad just got pissed. So my man, I had 2 doors in Adam. Like I had 2 doors, literally. I had 2 doors. One, you have to open up the first door, right? Which is always open anyways, in order to get to the second door, the main door, right?
The main door, yeah.
So what my dad done was it must have been dark at this time. So he must have just sat in between the two. He sat in between the 2 doors. And then literally as soon as the guy came through the door, yeah, trying to do a knockdown ginger, that not noticing, he just noticed that my dad sitting there and said shit. And my dad just stood up, grabbed him in a headlock. So what he done is then took this guy onto the main roads, yeah, trying to make him an example of everyone, right? And oh shit, man, this guy's a nutter, like, so my dad's like, listen, the next guy that comes through, I'm a anyways, he was going on a madness that time. But like I'm saying, the best way to describe this is,
your dad, he was the real Captain Phillips, bro.
Yeah, he was
I know his
serious,
pops.
man.
I know his pops,
He had a short fuse. That's the
him
thing.
hostage, like.
Nah, the
Serious.
guy had a short fuse, so he's not really taking shit. Do you know what I mean? And bearing in mind where we came from before, Norland and whatnot, that's already a mad place. Do you know what I mean? So you're thinking, what? I haven't got time. I've had a long shift here. I can't be dealing with this every day. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So he had to take matters into his own hands. It's not like he's gonna go to the feds and that. You know what I mean? But the best way to describe the area is, in that point, is that this is not zone 1 to 3. This is not the inner city kind of blocks that you're used to. This is literally zone 5 to 6, right? So our experience is different to other Somalis that have different experience, whether it's like inner city boroughs like Camden, wherever that might be. This is literally a borough hilling in like the last, it's totally different.
100%.
Whoever you're gonna face in that side, it's gonna be mostly like Adans and everything else. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of things we came across. Like,
I'm grateful. I'm grateful to travel in the state till today, bro.
Well, I'm grateful of like growing up in West. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
yeah, true. Say
I'm
north and
very
south on them
grateful.
sides.
100%, man. Just because, bro, you're growing up with so many different types of people, man.
I think it's more diverse. I felt like the diversity was a little bit different because we weren't. The makeup was way more.
100%.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Like that allowed us to understand a lot more cultures.
No, but even the part of West that we're from, we're on the outskirts, like, bro.
Yeah, we're just on the edge, bro. What Slough? That's next door to us. You're outside London now.
100%.
Yeah, but plus we got Heathrow around the corner anyway.
Yeah, so
like,
people
it's
consider it
just down
country,
the road.
like really and truly.
Yeah, like I always had people like my cousin, whether they're from Bush, whatever, they were like, "Oh, listen, what's this countryside and whatnot?" And literally, it was a countryside.
Literally, yeah,
Do you
countryside.
know what I mean?
bro.
Like Adam said, how long did it take to get to the shop?
It was at least 2 miles, bro. Like our nearest shop was, it was a bus, bro. You had to take a bus to the nearest shop, and it was a good 7, 8 bus stops, bro.
Just to
and
get
what
to the
mum
shops.
sending you out in the winter, telling you how I don't for them. Yeah.
Is
They're
it madness?
saying, what, mum, man, come on, it's
Yeah.
winter, bro. It gets dark early. You're
Yeah.
having encounters you don't really want to have.
Yeah.
But, you know, it builds character, you know.
No,
And,
100%.
No, you do. And funny enough, you know, when you're talking about the encounters and that, yeah, you know, the
bro, this guy had
madnesses,
the
yeah.
maddest encounter.
So this is the encounters, yeah. I'll set the scene when it comes to that, anyways. Now think about as this, right? I've just came to year 7, right? So I just come to year 7 and whatnot, and I went to a different school than Adam went to. He went to all boys school, so I went to a different. Furthermore, yeah, but at this
You
time,
man went to the same school,
yeah,
bro.
we went to the same school.
No,
but
no,
I'm
no,
in year
but
7 at this
it-
point.
it
Bear in
doesn't
mind,
count, 'cause-
he hasn't come to the school at this point.
Oh,
yet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So literally, like, I was at the shows. There was a few guys, Somali guys, whatnot, etc. Now, one of those guys had like a little thing going on with one white kid in the area, anyways, that went to your school furthermore. So I didn't even know what's going on. But at this time, I think these guys, Somali guys, were like year 9, 10. We're all from the same estate, so we're all going home together, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Now, the maddest thing is, I don't know what happened in the morning. See, I missed a mad thing that happened in the morning. In the morning, there's like a low wall that broke up in the estate, etc. So in order for the guys that went to his school, in order for them to go to school, they have to go through our estate, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes they cause trouble, whatnot. So the Somalis, there's always something going on. But at this time, I missed what was going on in the morning. I wasn't there, so I don't really know what's going on. So I must have one of these Somali guys, whatnot. So he had a argument, whatnot, a fight in the morning. He must have boxed up the guys like after school, whatnot. So I'm thinking, yo, we're just gonna go home like it's normal, right? As we're going on now, I think it was about 10 of us, 12 of us. Literally across the road, there's like a crazy pub at this point now.
Brook-ass pub.
Yeah,
Chelsea.
I'm
Chelsea
see,
club,
I think
like,
it's a proper Chelsea, like it's a
proper,
proper Chelsea pub, anyways, right? So I'm seeing like, no joke, right? From far away, I'm seeing bare man running. Like I'm seeing grown man from that pub towards. I'm thinking, what's going on for them to run? So I'm seeing 2-3 guys, a couple of the Somali guys already sprinting, and I said to myself, nah, I'm not really on it. Let me just get out of there as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Boom, got out of the way, legged it, went on, and we hid in a little place and whatnot. And then you must have seen 50 guys in a balaclavas, whatnot, running past us. These are grown men.
You said the real firm, yeah, the real hooligans.
See, this is the thing. I've not come across this stuff before, so I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
what kind of madness is this, right? So it's a madness. They threw one Somali guy through the window, through the shop window. One other guy got put in an ambulance. So bear in mind, these are grown men come after young guys.
Yeah,
right?
kids,
Then, if I think back to it now, it's like 8, 9, right? So this was so mad, yeah.
That one situation locked off the whole estate.
Yeah.
No man's allowed to come out now. If Sam even dares knocks at my door telling me to come out and play football, he's getting cussed out by my mum, saying he's
a
not
ban.
covering that. You man getting dashed through windows and that. It's not happening. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the Somali community where we grew up, it was tight knit. It was family. I'm very grateful for Charville. I mean, we grew up playing runouts, bro, and football
Yeah.
for time compared to other specific areas where if you're on your doorstep, there's people trapping
Yeah. We didn't really have that.
white,
Yeah.
black.
There was, don't get me wrong, there was
It
probably
existed,
going
yeah,
on,
yeah.
but it
In the
wasn't
background,
as
wasn't-
much in our face.
wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
like that.
But that's
Do you know what I mean?
the reason being is probably because of the part of the bar that you live in. Do you
I
understand what I'm
wouldn't say
saying?
that. I wouldn't say that. There were trap houses. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there was trap
Yeah,
houses.
but in
100%.
comparison to where I lived, for instance, I'm
No,
living
yeah,
closer
definitely.
to town centre.
Yours is
Yeah,
different.
yours
You live
is
towards
different.
town
You know what I'm
centre. But Oslo, there were loads probably trap
Yeah,
houses.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the thing is, it's not in your face.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't in
when
your
you
face.
don't see it like that,
Yeah.
you're just going about your business.
100%.
So no joke, like we're all doing Halloween together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
That's a madness.
Do you know what's
Like,
crazy? I came down there one year for Halloween, man. Oh my god.
That's the
Lit.
thing.
I'm not
Everyone
gonna
loves
lie, it was lit.
Never again,
It was
man.
lit.
Yeah, but the maddest thing is everyone loves coming to our area to Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know where's part. Even to this day, probably I think a lot of people refers to the Charver lot,
Yeah,
etc.
100%, man.
But bear in mind, I'll probably I left there like quite some time ago, so still
Yeah.
being referred to that.
Nah, but
it
it still
just
be the
shows
Charver lot, mate.
that it still shows that this is the community. You're always going to be
100%.
part of this community
100%.
at the same time. So it just shows the whole makeup of the community, Somalis,
Yeah.
just the growing up and everything else. And to me, it was a whole culture shock coming from.
I used to be jealous a lot though, you know, that you man lived somewhere before the UK. I've only ever known the UK. I remember growing up and this man speaking Dutch to two of our other brethren. The other two brethren are speaking bloody Swedish, like, and everyone can speak my language, but I can't speak nobody's language. Do you get it? And it was like, wow. So in the terms of diversity, I felt very diverse from my white friends, even though I physically didn't know, like mentally I was Somali, but I didn't know I was Somali. And then when I was moving with Somali guys, I'm also diverse because I'm not from where they're from. Even the Swedish and the Norwegian lot, like they're similar. Like they had a similar upbringing in terms of being from Scandinavia. Like they had similar type of upbringing. Even Holland maybe as well. Like it was similar upbringing. Holland was very different from the rest of Scandinavia in terms of Sweden and Norway and Denmark. All you man had similar. But when like Dutch people as well, they were very different in their own aspect. But from my view, all of you Europeans were like you had your own little thing, little thing going on. I was like, I was proper jealous growing up.
100%.
I think it went on for quite some time though, like up until even 2010, 11. Even when you go out, you've got all these Dutch lot, all these Swedish lot, all these. So you had all these groups and whatnot. Like I could bond probably more with someone from Holland, I say, because of the lived experiences that we had.
100%.
Right? No, but even when it comes to five-a-side, bro, I've seen you guys like you speak in your Dutch.
Yeah, they're probably speaking their Dutch,
bro.
No. Even to this day, like I play with some Dutch Cherokees, for example, right? And it's fun because you are speaking in Dutch to each other, like what the 1-2s, the free balls and everything else. So it's still there. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be there, I think, anyways. But I think it's been totally different. The experience is mad.
No,
you're gonna pass on the Dutch to the kids when you have them, inshallah.
Inshallah.
You know what? Yeah, nah. I wouldn't personally, anyways.
No,
I don't think it's much use in that sense. But one thing I would ask is, like, of course you're the first generations at the moment. You've got 2 sons, for example, right? So how would their upbringing be like? You'd say comparisons to yours.
I would like to say my mom and dad done a good job of raising me. So I would definitely take a big like page out of their book in terms of making sure that Islam is completely at the forefront. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with our culture. I love my culture. Like I love our culture. But I definitely will make Islam off the front of their culture, and I would love for them. I'll definitely put Islam at the front of their upbringing, and I'll definitely implement our culture as well. And obviously my Somali is not the greatest, but I'm not Hooyo Mataalo.
Alright, fair enough.
I'm definitely
He's not part of the whole Hooyo
not
Mataalo
Hooyo
gang.
Mataalo,
Fair enough.
But if I want my kids, if I want my kids in a Somali, I have to pull my finger up.
Would you say obviously it'd be a lot easier for them in terms of like growing up here because of obviously like what we had to go through in terms of
it's what I know, so I'd rather stick to the devil I know rather than I would love for them to grow up in a Muslim country, I'll be honest, but that means I would have to learn how to live there as well.
No, but so in terms of your experiences,
in terms of my experience, I'm not gonna lie, for my personal experience, I would prefer to raise them here.
No, I hear you, but I'm saying as in terms of like the struggles that you had to go through, you know, like with the beefs and the issues you were going through, like growing up in Charville, and just
I wouldn't want my kids to have a smooth ride. I'll be honest with you. I would like for them to have a few bumps in the road in terms of, because if you go through life with no problems, the day you do face a problem, you crumble. That's it. You won't know how to handle it. I feel like you're very weak in terms of mental strength and character. You won't really have a lot of character if everything's given to you on a plate. I don't think you'll be able to handle struggle.
But when they go to school now, like they're not gonna be getting Somalians or ugly or
it's
big foreheads.
It's a whole different. It'll be a whole different type of animal for them. Because obviously, when we're growing up, we're getting obviously like the whole world of our community is starting to learn about Somali people now, and we're always getting the what is there 9 of you in the house, and you know on benefits,
all those stereotypes,
and all of the mad stereotypes. But for my kids, when they grow up, it's going to be a whole different. I doubt that there will be a lot of stereotypical things. being thrown at them. Racial, I don't think will be a big thing in terms of specifically just for Somali people. Like race is always gonna. I reckon you won't eradicate racial slurs or even racism, but in terms of stereotypically just being targeted because they're Somali, I don't think.
So you basically have the battle scars and the
Yeah.
wounds.
And like, you know, I'll tell them about you know what dad went through and all of that.
Yeah.
But like alhamdulillah, I didn't you know have mad upbringings. Like obviously people might say a few words at me in their car driving past me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, you know, I never got gripped up and put in a corner and say like, you know, you're gonna die because you're Somali and like, you know, I was alhamdulillah, I never had that. Thanks to maybe where I lived and, you know, maybe even because I was lucky enough to be born here and sound like them.
Okay.
Do you get it?
But I think this goes perfectly now into the actual tie of the episode itself, is to do the whole reason how did Somalis climb that social ladder itself. And I think that fits in perfectly. The whole point of it is like I had this perfect actual well, I'd say a little part that I wanted to cover is talking more about, it's called super diversity, right? So actually, and I think it speaks to a lot of us anyways in that point. So if I can bring out and what the definitions and etc. is to do with, and this particular guy, he actually Vertovich that actually looked into when it came to the Somali communities, right? And I think this actually speaks to us a lot more. And then it's called diversification of diversity, right? So now, when we look at Somalis, there's a variety of different Somalis. So there's diversity within ourselves too, right? And what they're actually talking about is that you have British citizens, you have refugees, asylum seekers, people granted exceptional leave to remain, undocumented migrants, and secondary migrants from other European states like myself and Liban, right? So now you've got so many different, you've got a big variety that goes on, right? And it's funny because like Adam himself, his dad came here, I'd say late teens, early 20s. I'd say that's about the 1980s. You had a small amount of people that came through at that point, but I think the large amount probably came through the 1990s after the Civil War that went on. And then you probably had these so-called secondary migrants like ourselves that came, I'd say post 2004.
Yeah.
Now the maddest thing is when it comes to the visibility of Somalis and how we actually climbed on that social ladder is we got to look at things like education, for example. And the maddest thing I looked at was like they said in 1999 when it came to education, one out of 333 Somali kids only attained 5 A-star to C's. Just one. And to me that's a mad
number, you know.
Just one. So that just shows the contrast between what we're at now to how it was before. So of course that's we're relatively new. We just came to the country post Civil War. Madness went on. Do you know what I mean? So of course, when it comes to the whole educational system, there will be gaps there.
100%.
And in order for us to get to those levels, it will take us time to, you know, get there bit by bit. So when that clip early on mentioned savages, animals, it just shows that literally, look, we're just getting our foot into the door. Yeah, we're trying to see what it's like at that point, right? So when it came out, to me, the whole man, when you look at, there's another thing where people speak about, they talk about like the ladder of disadvantages, right? So you're talking about like representation, whether 100%. It's to do with the media, whether it's to do with access to housing, to do with things such as education itself. So now when we look at like housing and education go like hand in hand if you deep it, right? So if you got like 9 siblings, you got a packed house, right?
Yeah.
And you got like you got like overcrowding that goes into the house itself, right? That will impact your education because you won't have 100%. A spot in the house to go and do your homework.
Absolutely. Right?
Like you won't have a table. Like right now, my younger siblings, right? They've got like a mad corner, mad table and everything else, a laptop, everything's set for them to have their space. Whether a tutor comes down, on a weekly basis. So they're set now in the educational side of things. They're given that level playing field, let's just say. But when it comes to a household, which might have been common at that time, 6, 5, etc., right? When we had all these overcrowding and whatnot, that definitely impacted when it came to educational system
100%.
itself. That impacted, then that also impacts for us to get jobs, right? So this is like a whole, you know, the way someone can say like a whole conveyor belt itself. So like we're talking about housing, education,
So interlinked.
exactly. So it's all interlinked itself. Like the maddest thing is, if you look at it, those guys are older than us. Like I can't think of someone that went uni at that time.
Nah.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
So it was a myth to them.
No, but not even just that. Like I remember growing up, like I didn't see any professionals. Like the first person I
Yeah.
saw was a GP, and then a couple years down the line, a school teacher in our school.
In our
Remember?
school, yeah. He was the first Somali school teacher I ever saw, by the way. And that's I'm
Oh,
in
yeah,
sixth
yeah,
form,
yeah.
bro.
Obviously, we have to mention that you
Oh, yeah,
you
you
went to our
came in
school.
as-
Oh yeah, I
Oxford,
came
yeah.
eventually. I came
Yeah, yeah,
eventually.
sixth form times,
We're not
yeah,
just
yeah,
I came eventually.
Yeah, sixth form.
I
yeah.
jumped ship. I was in an all boys school 5 years. I had to go see some. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He came in afterwards, but
But now
definitely.
now, bro, you can go to the A&E, boom, you see loads of Somalis. You can go to a school, you see loads of Somali teachers. You know, like they're you see them everywhere in every field.
I think it's more common now, anyways. Like I said, that one particular business teacher, for example.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
obviously, shout out Mr. Osman and
Shout
that.
out.
Shout out, Mr.
Like,
Osman.
my man gave us a couple of life lessons.
Couple
and that.
gems and that.
You know what I mean? For
100%.
us, just before he actually came in, I think I was in year 13 at that time, and he's relatively young himself. I
Yeah,
think
he
he's
was
like
pretty young.
22.
He was in his,
So he was able to give us. He's fresh from uni, anyways.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, yeah, listen, watch out for this," and etc. He's talking about something about jihadis in the woods, etc. Watch out for them.
wait.
So crazy. I was like, "Whoa, what?" Islamic Society. I was like, "What do you mean, jihadis and Islamic Society?" Like, yeah, just watch out for them. And I was like, "All right, cool." So, but do you know what it was? To me, it was more to do with the facts, right? That he was a Somali teacher. To me, it was about the representation
100%.
side of things. Like, you finally had someone. Fair enough, yeah, you have whether you had a Jamaican teacher, Nigerian teacher, cool, but they're not your people like
That's
that.
your
If that
people,
makes
yeah, you
sense,
see
this
them
is
every day.
Yeah, but look, let me ask you a question. Did that ever affect you? So, like me personally, if there was somewhere I wanted to get to, like let's say there was a specific job that I wanted to do, yeah. If I didn't see a Somali person there, it didn't affect me to say, you know what, I don't have representation there. There's not someone there that looks like me that's doing that job. I don't want to do it.
I'll be honest with you, that it definitely affected me in terms of like the people. Like, you need role models, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm saying to you? Like,
But does a role model have to be specifically someone that is like you?
bro,
Can
you
your
have to
role
see
model not be a
yourself.
white man?
Nah, but impossible.
Yeah.
Like, I have to see myself in a person.
In a person.
Do you know, like,
Yeah.
this is a teacher that you're seeing every day now, so you know it's possible. Prior to that, I told you, the only person I saw was a GP.
Yeah.
So, like, I know it's possible now, like, to become a teacher if I wanted to be a teacher. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing him every day. I can talk to him in Somali if I wanted to, but he didn't really teach me. So it was with me. It was just I used to see him around more. But with you guys, I'm pretty sure he taught you.
Yeah, he
guys,
taught
right?
me. He taught me business.
Yeah. No,
Just
he taught
seeing
us
him
this
alone,
business.
Yeah,
seeing him alone and
Yeah.
interacting.
Yeah,
Two
so
big impacts.
no, definitely.
It never inhibited me,
Yeah,
personally.
no, it did. It
Personally.
did. Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's
bro,
because
the way I used to like, obviously, this is my
Yeah.
younger self, innit? Like, I just used to see loads of, you know, like the youths on the block, you know, like young guys got money, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. I'd be looking up to the local rappers or the local, you know, trap stars and whatnot.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
honest with you. Like when I was 15, 16, like
Yeah, I don't know.
that's what it was.
I wasn't really like that, to be fair.
No,
Like,
I
I
don't
didn't need.
I wasn't
I
interested
didn't
in it at all.
need. Yeah, I was never really.
Thank
into
God.
that, man. Alhamdulillah,
Thank
like,
God, because
that
I
was
could have easily gone into
the
it like
local
that.
brothers.
Yeah.
Nah, that was never my thing. You know
Never
what I
was
mean?
my
Like,
thing.
okay,
Never.
cool, they were there. Don't get me wrong on
Yeah.
that, but the way I was always like, I think, yeah, definitely representation. It only boosts up what you already got in a sense.
100%.
So like seeing, having a t-shirt itself that is Somali, for example, and he's giving you these gems, and like, right, like I can actually get there.
Yeah,
No, but
right?
once I saw Mr. Osman and I interacted with him, I understood of why there needs to be someone to represent
Yeah, no,
for
that-
specific
exactly,
societies,
I agree,
innit?
I agree.
Because of the interaction that I had with them.
Yeah.
All my other teachers before that, they were good teachers. Like if I
Yeah.
had a good teacher, they were a good teacher regardless. Like they treated me the same.
Yeah.
If they were a good teacher, they were a good teacher. But with Mr. Osman now he's seen someone like he's probably sees himself in us when he was
Yeah.
we were his age. So he feels obliged to come now and drop gems on us personally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll pull us aside. He'll speak to us mandem talk. He'll talk to us on a level, and he'll say, "Listen, it's going to be different from you." So like, I had to be spoken to like that because I was probably a bit too naive,
Yeah.
thinking, okay, cool, I'm not different from Jonathan next to me,
Yeah.
Mr. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
He might not be as performing as well as me.
Yeah.
Like I used to have this a lot as well, but I don't know why I was very naive to it. When I was older, I look back and it slapped me in the face. I would excel. I remember I was very good at science. I would excel at science, yeah. And my class was predominantly white, yeah. I would never be like the star pupil of that lesson. Like we used to do star pupils type thing.
Yeah.
Like I would probably get the highest like mock score, or like I would probably be the best person in that lesson. Personally, that's how I'd feel. But people who weren't excelling as much as me, they would always be the one to get up in assembly and get the like, you know, the certificate or the
Accolades,
medal
yeah.
or the accolades. Yeah, 100%. I could never be the poster boy for them. Like even like we used to do prefects, like that, like we used to be once you get to 11, you could be a prefect. So you get a different tie, different badge. Yeah. My name is double A. My first name starts with A. My surname starts with A. Yeah. They're doing it in alphabetical order. Yeah. I'm the only black guy to be a prefect now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and one other guy, but he's not Somali. Yeah. I'm the last person to get called up to get given tie and badge.
Mad.
But any other time, exam hall, I'm at the front. All the time, I'm at the front. Classes, I'm at the front. Everything, I'm at the front. So yeah, in terms of representation, I see the importance of it, 100%. But it never used to inhibit me. I never used to be like, I need to see a Somali person in that position to go there, or I need to see a black person to be able to get there.
Yeah, but do you not think it's like it's an unconscious thing? Like
I don't know.
Like, because that's what I think the case is.
You know, yeah. You know,
For some people, I reckon mentality, maybe that's how it is for some people.
you know, before I'd say, right, like I just used to coast through life. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I was just
I was like
coasting
that.
through, right?
Yeah.
Until one day I must have went into like it was like an inside day to one particular investment bank. So I went down to Canary Wharf, anyways. Bam. It was like it was organized by one Somali community organization, right? And they must have got like all the employees at this investment bank, brought them all together at this. It's like a employment workshop, right? So it's about, I'd say about 12 of them, but they all work in different departments, right? And this time I was doing my master's actually, international business at this time. So I was like, okay, like first time I'm actually going to a establishment like this, like I'm going into and it's mad, since the way I say this is, the reason I say it's a bit mad, right, is because the minute I walked in through the doors, I'm at the reception, I'm thinking, yo, wow, what is this, man? I'm suited up, like what's going on, right? But I feel like out of place and everything. So now I'm going up up in on the lift and everything. Went to a room, and within this room, right, obviously the person that's leading is a white lady, but in all these different desks and everything, all I'm seeing is like Somalis suited up, whether it's women, men. So I'm seeing a variety of them. I'm thinking, yo, what's going on? This is mad. So as I was going, as they were doing little speeches and everything, how they got there and whatnot. And I think it was this one Somali girl. She was talking about, she was the head of the legal department, I think. And I'm looking at her and saying, what, you're the head of the legal department in this particular IB firm? Like, it's mad. Do you know what I mean? The next guy is a young Somali guy. He's in the investment banking division, right? I think he's like 25 at this point, earning X amount, like crazy. But this without even the bonuses at this point. He's looking at me straight like, all right, so what time do you wake up? I'm like what, 8:30? Goes, too late.
Too late.
So what do you mean it's too late? Like 8:30 is all right, isn't it? Still, man. Because nah, should be waking up at like 4 o'clock. What are you doing with yourself? And the way I could relate with him more was he was a Somali Dutch guy,
Yeah.
right? So the minute he noticed that with me too, it's like he drew me closer. Not, of course, everyone else was Somali too. Don't get me wrong, but it's more of a connection.
Yeah.
You find these things, right? Like we spoke about earlier, diversity within diversity, right? So like you find a bit more in that sense. So like he must have said to me, "Listen, you got to work harder, man. What are you doing?
Yeah,
This and
100%.
this. Like you got to be doing X amount more. You got to be working way harder. You can't be just chilling, whatnot." And no joke, like after that day, that's when my eyes opened and said, "Listen, I'm actually just coasting through things. Like I got to be working harder." And he just said to me, all these degrees that you're doing, like, well, it's not really going to help you. It's about what you do with them and how hard you work at them. So I think at that point, and with the Somali business teacher that we had, that's when I think representation was a bit more relevant for me.
Yeah.
As in before, it wasn't too relevant.
Yeah, no,
I didn't think of
it wasn't relevant for me at all until I met Mr. Osman. 100%.
No, I didn't.
100%. Because, like I said, he would pull me aside.
Yeah.
He would tell me specifically, everything is against you. Yeah, because he see how I was moving in sixth form.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking to everybody. Like these guys, they went to the school the whole time. Yeah. But I'm speaking to people who they've never integrated with. Like I'm integrating with the whole school. Yeah. Like I'm integrating with the whole sixth form. Like I'm not seeing, like I'm not accepting it that I'm different to just because I'm black and Somali. Like I don't get why,
And Muslim,
and Muslim as well. I don't get why I can't integrate with everyone. Muslim, what the Islam side, okay, cool. I can understand why I shouldn't be. But just being a young boy, growing up black Somali, people are telling me, everything's against you. I'm saying, but how? Why? And that's just something that I didn't understand. And then when Mr. Osman obviously sat me down and he spoke to me a couple of times, he spoke to me as well. Even at parents, I had parents even one time, and my mum was there. Yeah, he was telling me, "Yo, this boy can go far, but he needs to understand the color of his skin and how much harder he needs to work." And so, representation, I definitely understand it, but for me personally, it never was like a philosophy of saying, "Yo, I can't see someone there that looks like me. I can't get there." I never had that mentality. Like if I wanted to be a police officer or if I wanted to be the head chief, and if there was not a Somali person there, it wouldn't inhibit me from getting there. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing, but definitely having an interaction of a role model who is somebody like you and has been through specific life lessons that you haven't is definitely key. But me personally, I don't think it should inhibit you of trying to reach your goal, even if there's somebody that doesn't look like you.
No, definitely. Well, I can add to that even myself. When I had that parents' evening with him, like literally, like when mom had that parents' evening with him, my mom broke out in tears. And it was mad. Like my mom was crying at the parents' evening. I'm telling my mom, "Yo,
chill
fix
out."
Up. Like, you're crying, And I'm thinking, yo, this is the first time I've actually seen my mom like break down at parents' evening. And bear in mind, I'm thinking to myself, wait, hold up, my grades ain't mad. I don't misbehave in the class. When sixth form, like, you're not gonna do a madness at this point, right? But it was the fact that, when words hit home a bit more, especially when they're being said in Somali to you, right? So he's saying to her, listen, same thing that Adam's saying, listen, he can't go far and whatnot, but he's holding himself back. So my mom now is saying, what does he need to do? Just tell me, and then in order for me, because listen, he needs to kick back to at least 4:30 every day. I said, what? I said, what? 4:30 every day? My mom said, if you want to make it 5,
I'm calm with that.
He's there.
Did he do your thing in Somali? He spoke to mom Somali the whole time.
No, he don't mind Somali. And funny
Bro,
enough,
I was thinking, yo, what's going on here?
Yeah, but I think it's like, the funniest thing he said to me, and this cracked him up afterwards. And bear in mind, we're still cool to this day, and he's like he's a sick guy like that. Like we're all in contact, loads of us actually, anyways. And he's such a nice guy. And the fact is that he must have said to me that after the actual lesson, business class, I don't know if he was there. He must have said to me, he must have like dismissed everyone else, and he said to me, "Oh, Sam, I want you to stay behind." I said, "All right, cool. What did I do now?" Kind of thing. Stay behind the lesson, and then he must have said, "Oh, did you like do you like my parents' evening last night? Like
Yeah.
the whole way I went about, it was sick, innit? Sick, innit?
What
I was like,
the
what do you
guy?
mean, bro? Like, my mom broke
Mom's
down in front
onto
of
me,
me.
like, yeah.
He goes, nah, you need a little bit of kick up the arse, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just to perform and that. But then I realized, you know what? Maybe I needed that at the same time. But at the same time, when I had a brief spell teaching maths myself, so I had loads of these kids.
Yeah.
And hopefully this will be episode 3 when it comes to do with the mentoring, and why is literally like it's a big help when it comes to. I realized how representation was so key.
Yeah.
Like for quite some time, I had kids in the class not know that was Somali. And I thought that was obvious anyways, but they didn't know that. But until, obviously the Somali kids knew that, but until I said one day, yeah, I'm Somali, like, I must have seen all these
How could he not
Somali.
see from the name?
Yeah,
though?
no, Yusuf, like, I don't know, like, so
It's
it's
a
one of
spelling,
those
innit,
ones,
probably,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's one of those ones where they must have, the kids were like, oh, what, you're Somali, so, and I saw all the rest of the Somali kids.
Bro, I
like,
had that
bare
my whole
happy,
life, bro.
like, they were happy saying, yeah, he's Somali, you know, like the teacher, see how calm he's of us, yeah, man, he's Somali. So you can see how happy they were about the whole thing. But at the same time, I realized, don't get me wrong, the same tactic that Mr. Osman done, I done the same thing on them kids too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, if I would call up the parents, I'll go extra. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, if I feel the disrespect of those kids in the class, if they were trying to misbehave, like, it will be an extra.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel extra disrespect. I'm thinking, wait, I'm Somali. How dare you disrespect me?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But most of the time, don't get me wrong, they're on point. And one thing I realized about the mothers, yeah, if you give one phone call home, this kid will behave for the rest of the year, guaranteed, right? Because one kid had the Arsenal ticket, no joke. Yeah, he must have misbehaved. His mom goes, "What? He misbehaved? All right." She must have ripped the Arsenal ticket, yeah, right in front of him, and said, "You're not going."
You wasn't gonna
Like,
miss much anyways, innit?
Yeah, obviously not much, but so that's just the craziest thing. And whilst we're on the topic of representation, we do want to finish on a high, right?
100%.
We want to talk about obviously we are represented nowadays, I think, in loads of different industries. You know, we've got so many like Somalis in various different places. I'd say I think the most notable people nowadays, like you got
Like, some of the earliest, like, yeah, if we start off with
yeah, you
the
start with
earliest ones I can think of, like, that I'd see, there's people like Mo Farah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally Mo Farah,
I'd say Mo Farah.
Raga Umar.
Yeah, you
Oh,
got
Raga
Raga
Umar,
Umar,
yeah,
which is
100%.
a-
You have to shout out Raga Umar,
you have to,
100%.
which is obviously
100%.
prominent person. That was, you know, you could definitely see it there, and you know, not just that. I think there's another Somali news reporter on Channel 4 that used to do documentaries of Al Shabaab and that.
But early on,
Early on, quite some time ago. I forgot his
Yeah,
name.
The Somali writer on Scandal.
Yeah, you
we got
got
bare
that.
people,
you got so many people that are doing
like
quite
entertainment, do you know what it is? Like,
I think yeah, on the entertainment aspect you do, but then at the same time you got notable people on the forefront when it comes to the business aspect.
100%.
You know, you got people like Ismail Ahmed who owns World Remit, for example. I think is voted in 2020 as the most successful or prominent Black Britain, which is a big thing. Imagine we went
That's a big
from
thing.
a non-black person
Yeah.
to now
I'm
the
black.
most
Yeah.
prominent black person, and this is to do like the fintech industry and everything else. And you got like when I mean representation, you got so many other people, whether it's A&R, you got notable people within content creator, YouTube,
100%.
like Chunks. You've got
Darkest.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you got so
AJ.
many people in your face,
100%,
and I
100%.
think
Abdi TV as well. You might know about Abdi.
yeah,
TV.
no, definitely. So the funniest thing about when it comes to all these things is now that Osman is in your face more, I've had even people, right, work colleagues say to me, "Oh, Dina Vidunya."
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah,
trusting
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's mad because I'm thinking, what? So these are the type of influences that we have now.
No,
Does it make
100%.
sense?
Bro, I've
Like-
got people coming up to me talking about Hanid, bro.
I need, yeah.
They say, yo, I need some of that Hanid, bro. And I said, what?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, like, come, let's go for Somali munch. I heard you man's munch is like 10-10 and that. I'm like, yeah. It's popping, innit? But
Yeah.
where'd you learn
No,
it
but you know
from?
what's crazy as well? Like we've completely failed to mention, like, you know, like the road youths and the street kids and whatnot, and how like a lot of Somali words have become popular amongst musicians and whatnot. Like,
Definitely. When
whether-
it comes to the music industry,
like whether it be
Yeah.
words like, you know, like habsi,
Yeah,
you
Habsi's
know,
in there,
askari,
Wallahi's in there.
like,
yeah, Habed. You got so many words that are integrated now into
Goody.
slang.
Man, like young ads dropped
Goody,
goody in his
yeah,
track.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, but yeah, there's so many, and obviously that's to do with the whole lingo that goes on.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? But that to me, that just shows that you've got influence from so many different angles.
100%.
You know what I'm trying to say?
100%.
Like, I think was it what the rated awards? You got Maya Jama and you got Chunks presenting
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
Somalis.
To
Do you know what I
Somali,
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
literally.
You would never catch that anywhere else
Never.
beforehand.
Never.
Do you know what I mean? And you've
I'm not like, you wouldn't even fathom, bro, that let's say if I told you when you was in like year 9, listen, there's gonna be 2 Somali people hosting a TV, like a top award ceremony on TV. You'd be like, what are you on about? It's not gonna happen.
yeah, no, the whole thing about popular culture.
We barely got
especially
bloody
when we talk
Somali
about,
bus drivers and that. You're talking about.
yeah, when we talk about the whole popular culture now, that's what it is nowadays,
100%.
right? And I feel like this is due to the fact that we're more around others too at the same time, and we allowed others to come into our community.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest takeaways from it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you see so many kids nowadays, no joke, whether they're white or whatever, catch saying two Somali words, and you be like, whoa, where did you catch that from? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. TikTok.
Like, yeah, so you see this. Okay, another thing is the whole TikTok thing.
Oh,
going on,
TikTok's
Somali
smashing it
community.
still.
Do you know what I mean? So we're all in these little pockets,
Yeah, no,
doing a
100%.
madness. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Do you know what's funny? Like we could literally do like a whole
No, we
second
could, yeah,
episode
yeah.
on this, innit? And I feel like at some point we do need to do a second episode
Yeah.
on this.
Yeah, a little part 2 thing. 100.
Hopefully part 2, yeah.
Yeah, and start like really looking at people. You know, like we could go through a whole list.
Yeah, we can
of
go through a
different
whole
sectors.
breakdown of the
Yeah.
whole thing, different sectors, people who do so many great things. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And don't get me wrong, Somalis even do great things when it comes to grassroots things from the bottom down, right?
So,
And then we got great representation all around. Like I can name you, like, you see so many girls, Somali girls nowadays on Nike adverts.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like featuring, like that's representation again,
100%.
right?
I see one Somali girl on the new FIFA 22 trailer. She was the referee. You know that
referee,
Somali
yeah,
ref?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Somali
so she
referee
did, so I need to
girl.
find out her name. If you're watching this,
apologies
sorry.
for that. For not-
Sorry, but
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
big up you.
So no, but then again, that's what it is. That's representation, right? You got Somalis in sports too now. Hopefully, I think between the next 5 to 10 years, you're gonna see more.
Somali footballers.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that. You're gonna see more of an influx.
We'll have some brothers that will pass the ball, man. At some point.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
hopefully, inshallah. We
Hopefully,
need a
man.
couple of ballers to come through in that in the Premier.
No, but it's mostly
Definitely.
like what, like first generation, like growing up in it, like having gone to school here, you know,
Yeah.
like learned the system. And
the best way to put it is just give us a second and we'll get
That's
there.
it,
You get me?
man.
No,
100%.
we're slowly getting there. It's
That's
clear.
exactly the
It's
best way to
obviously
put
clear
it.
that we're-
Give us a second,
we're
we're on
getting
our
there.
way. You know what I mean?
100%.
On the M way, we're getting there.
No, we're
That's the
definitely
best way to
Listen,
put it.
anywhere Somalis go, they put their foot down.
100%.
Wala
100%.
qabsana, wala qabsana.
Yeah,
Capture that flag, man.
100%, Broski.
Oh,
We're
God.
in there.
catching the flag.
Therefore,
Expansionists.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So
That's
no,
how we roll.
definitely.
100%.
So like we mentioned earlier, hopefully the next episode will be about
are we saying
I
a little
think- I
preview
think-
into the next episode?
I
yeah?
think it
Today?
goes off, yeah,
Little
for the next episode. Hopefully, it goes off from the topic today. Actually, that when it comes to representation, you also need when it comes to the whole mentoring thing, and we're going to talk about how mentoring will be actually key to our
No,
actual
100%. 100%.
communities. And I think hopefully, inshallah, that'll be another one to look out for.
Yes, like some will have enough stories, like
Oh, for
Yeah.
mentoring.
days mentoring.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Hopefully,
Definitely.
Inshallah.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But that's
yeah,
definitely one big gem that I would tell to my younger self, bro, and even to our younger brothers who are even growing up now. Like, definitely the mentoring thing and having people who you could look up to as role models
Yeah.
is key, man. Because
100%.
like I said, up until that point, even Sam, I was just cruising through life, oblivious, hella naive, just thinking, bro, I was born here. My English is on point. My education is on point. No one could chat to me. Like, if I'm trying to get there, I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
get
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then at the same time, I need to know if there's... imagine knowing there's obstacles
Yeah,
around the corner. You can't see around the corner, but someone's already told you once you bust that corner, there's an obstacle there. Be ready. That's gem, bro.
You got to drop, man. You got to drop.
Do you know what I mean?
No, that's 100%.
It's
I
key
agree with
info.
Adam on
100%,
that.
100%. So
100%.
That's a big gem takeaway from.
100%. So I reckon like it's probably best to finish it off on a high,
Yeah.
you know, on
Big
a
high.
high. So obviously, like, thanks for listening in on episode 2 of Hooyo Mataalo Pod, and thanks for Adam. Thank you for coming on.
It's not even a thing, broski.
Yeah, we hope to see you on some more
Oh,
episodes.
we will
inshallah.
I better get a phone call, you know what I mean?
Adam's
worry
getting that
about
call
it.
out.
Of course,
Definitely.
call me up,
No,
bro.
definitely.
Put me in, coach.
You've been a great guest. Like.
Thank you. Don't forget, you lot, like and subscribe, man.
Like,
Subscribe, show love to the
100%,
brothers. You get me?
Definitely.
100%.
Like we said on the first episode, as time goes on, hopefully we're trying to bring more content to everything. But at the same time, definitely drop us a feedback, comment if you wanna, if there's something that you think is beneficial to talk about when it comes to our community, please drop in the comments. You know what I mean? Like I said,
Yeah, if there's anything you want to hear in the future, if there's people you want to see, you know what I mean? If you know people, let them, you know what I mean?
100%.
Come through.
Anybody got my Jama's number? Tell her, yo, send it. We'll put invite her on still.
Yeah, so like, subscribe, and just follow all the socials.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on, all of that.
all of that.
Yeah, what, we're gonna have the socials on the here
Yeah,
somewhere.
nah.
So is it gonna be down this corner up there?
We might do something. I don't know, but definitely.
All right.
Nah, for real. But
When you do that whole thing, woof,
Yeah, it's gonna be
social
right here. Yeah.
but yeah, man. I reckon, let's call it a night. Yeah, bless.